another planet? Is Janet from 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 another planet?
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And as always, so much shit for us to talk about, it seems like. We just can't get out from under it. We're just piling up, no matter what we do. So let me turn that off real quick for you so that it's not underneath there. Okay. Well, tonight I've got a few things, just a variety of things, because last night, just another Redshirt and I talked about election fraud and some of the other fraud that was going on with the Somalians. So we wanted to talk about so much of that tonight. But before we get started, I wanted to share one little or two things, because I have a tie tonight for this award. And I'm going to play the two videos for the person who wins the massive Dickhead Award for me, because they deserve it. So here we go. I'm going to share these two with you because I had a hard time trying to figure out which one I was going to, give the award to. So, I just got pissed off. Well, this is one of them. And it's to Bill and Hillary Clinton as a couple for not showing up to do what their job.
I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president. And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions. And that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans to subpoena Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. Not a single Democrat. The ones that have press conferences on the Capitol steps and talk about how they're trying to get justice for the victims and all that. It just seems like they only care about questioning Republicans. And we've had a former Trump cabinet secretary, Acosta, in for a grilling. We had Bill Barr, former attorney general, in for a grilling. But for whatever reason, President Clinton didn't show up, and the Democrats on the committee don't seem to have a problem. This is the amount of preparation that went into this deposition today. These were the questions that we were prepared to ask. We've communicated with President Clinton's legal team for months now, giving them opportunity after opportunity to come in, to give us a date, and they continue to delay to the point where we had no idea whether they're going to show up today or not. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
I think that's disgusting. So I'm going to stop sharing that one. And then the next one that I'm bringing up for the tie is this one, because I was just really pissed off when I saw it. But let me get it real quick. Sorry. It was the last one I found, so I wanted to add it. I'm giving it to all the parents and mothers mostly, bringing their very small child with them in 9-degree temperatures in Minnesota to protest illegal aliens that are there that have raped and murdered young American women and boys. So here we go.
Do these women, are the kids in strollers? Or do they have them in like one of those little swings?
Sometimes they have them in strollers, but the other night I saw several small children just being walked around. And I mean, these are kids that are, this big.
Oh my God. And the fathers are dads there?
No fathers.
All right. So it's no dads, it's moms, and they're bringing kids. That's insane. And how cold is it? It's 9 degrees?
It's 9 degrees. It's bouncing between 8 and 9.
Do these women
9 degrees, and they're taking their babies out to who knows what can happen to them with all the chaos that's going on. But not just the chaos, but the temperature being 9 degrees outside. These people are crazy. These people are nuts. And they, even though they're women, I want to give them the massive dickhead award, because that's what they all are. All of those people.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The Clintons and all those parents that would take their children to a riot, basically. It's just stupidity. And we lack common sense in this country anymore. And I just wanted to share that with everyone, because I just was pissed when I saw some of it. But to lighten the mood, I want to share one thing really quick. This young guy is hilarious. He's a comedian, and I'm going to share his tag, to his channel, his Instagram channel, in the chat. But I just think he's just hilarious. He made me laugh, and basically that's what he's trying to do. But in a way, I think a lot of people would buy tickets to go to this if we could ever get this to happen. So here we go. I want you to see this. Here we go.
Something I've honestly been kind of curious about is why don't they make like an actual little person sporting league, because I feel like low key I could dominate in that, but like no offense to myself, I know people would come watch that shit, bro. A bunch of little people going at it in like football or basketball or something. Like who wouldn't want to watch that, Like I'm talking like I want to be a part of like some football team, but like I want to be like a boxer, because like I ain't never fought another little person. So like, I want to know like what I'm up against. Like, like what if I'm the alpha a little people, like a 4'4", 100 pounds, pretty freaking. Ooh, you know, you didn't even see that. Pretty freaking agile. So I just want to know, man. Like that'd be something I'd be down in.
His name's Zachary, and
Mm-hmm.
I put his Instagram
That's
in
funny.
the chat. Yeah, he's adorable, but he's a comedian, and it made me laugh. It put me in a good mood to see somebody that it was born different than the rest of us, and probably been made fun of his whole life, that's still fighting to enjoy his life and make the best of what he's got. And I wish those people that are taking their little tiny toddlers out in 9-degree temperatures to protest illegal aliens and criminals from being taken out of our country. It's just pathetic. I just can't stand it. But I wanted to share that because I thought it was hilarious. So you guys could see it. But also, I have one other thing I thought was pretty hilarious, and it made me go, yes, I love this guy. So I'm going to share that really quick before we get down to the shit that we're going to be talking about. But I just like this too. I think it's this one. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if any of you saw this, but the president went to the Ford plant. It was doing a tour, and some jack off was like heckling him, and he just mouthed, "Fuck you." Flipped him off, flipped the bird to this person. So even this person, the president of our country, is getting sick and tired of all the ridiculous, dumbass idiots that we have in this country, that we are still fighting for, trying to get them to have more money in their pocket and to have fair justice under the law. And they still hate you for it. Here we go. Oh, it's so nice to see someone who's a real man that is fed up, just like the rest of us. You know, he's just doing the best he can with what he's got. And I don't know, this made me proud to see that. We don't get to see that kind of stuff from our president very often. And it made me feel good to know that he's just a man, like, a human. And he makes mistakes, and he deals with things, and he gets, pissed off just like we do. And I just loved it. I loved the human side that came out. But a lot of this stuff that we've been dealing with this stuff going on in Minnesota is really starting to just chap everyone's ass. So I thought this was a nice thing that happened, but a factual thing, that something's actually being done, that somebody's trying to do something besides just arresting people by the busloads and taking them and taking them back over the border. And some of them, I think that they're prosecuting. It depends on, whether or not they broke the law that they know of, besides coming into our country illegal. So I just wanted to bring this up. So let me get it real quick here. I think it's this one. Nope. Damn, I always pick on the wrong ones. Yeah, here it is. All right. This is Pam Bondi talking about her firing 6 Department of Justice prosecutors. So here we go.
In Minnesota. What happened in Minnesota? We had 6 prosecutors who suddenly decided they didn't want to support the men and women in ICE. One of them was busy doing a photo shoot with the New York Times while ICE was out there risking their lives. So they came, they said, we want to resign, but we want to use our annual leave up until April, meaning they wanted the taxpayers to pay for them to go on vacation because they decided they didn't want to support law enforcement. So the breaking news tonight, I fired them all. They're fired from the office. And our U.S. attorney there, Rosen, he's great. He was just confirmed 3 months in Minnesota. What happened in Minnesota? We had 6 prosecutors who suddenly decided they didn't want to support the men and women in ICE. One of them was busy doing a photo shoot with the New York Times while ICE was out there risking their lives. So they came, they said, we want to resign, but we want to use our annual leave up until April, meaning they wanted the taxpayers to pay for them to go on vacation.
Well, I'm sorry I let that go twice because I was trying to respond to someone in the chat. But I'm glad to see that she did something, because we're never hearing anything about she's done anything, even though I've showed people. Go to the website and you can see how many people they've arrested for trafficking, drug running, all these crimes from all over the United States that the Department of Justice is prosecuting, but yet she's doing nothing. So, because nobody wants to go look it up, go to the government website where they post it. They want to have someone else show it to them or something. I don't know. I don't understand it. But, some people just don't really care enough to see that she's actually doing stuff and preparing for something really big that I think is about to happen. But we will find out. So that was one of the things that I thought was important that we share. And I think this is the next one. Yeah, I think this one's it right here. Here we go. All right. Now I found this, came down my timeline. It is a glimpse into hold on, darn it. I got to go down, pause it. Okay. This is a glimpse into an upcoming whistleblower. He's exposing a whole bunch of stuff that he knows about. And this is just a 6-minute video giving you little tidbits of information of what this is about to come out. And I'm going to share this gentleman's information in the chat. So anybody that wants to go follow him at his different places that he's at, Ken Colbert, you guys can follow him and get more information from this. But I just thought this was interesting. It says that about people poisoning the food supply and neglecting animal care through the food chain. There's just a whole bunch of stuff in this, and I just thought it was really interesting. I didn't know if anybody had seen it, so I wanted to share it with everyone. So here we go. Make sure it's turned up. I can't get it to let me go up on it for some reason. Oh, darn it. Hold on. Oh, well, that's as loud as I can get.
Keep talking. So, long story short, Michael Bloomberg contacted me, gave me the information on I-69. From there, we compiled it. We started putting it all together. Glenn Beck is the guy that caught my attention. He goes, this is all connected. Now, we sent it all to Beck. He won't talk to it. He's blackballed me. He's afraid. What we have is made the FBI furious because we now know the FBI brings in all the human trafficking, sex trafficking. How do we know? Because the FBI came after me. Twice they demanded I bring my stuff out to Caston FBI. Twice the FBI threw me out. We had the times and the dates. I've got everything. Why? When we went out there, the guard put his hand on his gun and said, get out. There's no agents available to see you. I had just called. You had just told me to come out. This is all true. I said, I own a very large animal hospital. I'm not some guy on the street corner out of a cardboard box. Second time I go out, I stand away from the FBI shack and I said, I'm going to call a press conference and accuse you of raping those kids behind my house. They had a drop yesterday morning. Fast forward, when I finally got the rape house closed, there were 16 rooms in the lower level. 16 rooms. Mac McNaught, one of the biggest lawyers in town. You know Mac? I know the name. Henry McNaught. Yes. He sold Denison properties and all that. He sold me my property in my hospital. I go over to the auction. We finally closed everything down. The old man, John Loudermilk, died, one of the richest guys around. He was laundering the kids. We saw it all happening. I didn't hear about the internet. I witnessed it with my own eyes. I called Hendricks County Police. They refused. Not once a day would come out. Everybody was told protected. We went to Todd Rokita 3 times, twice at town hall meetings, once in D.C. Rokita, to this day, refused to speak. Rokita lied to our state reps. He couldn't do anything as Attorney General. They came after me. There was an attempt on my life in 17. The only person that stood up for me, I know I'm going really fast. When you see this, you're going to freak out. Chief Justice Loretta Rush sent me a personal letter. Got it in my bag. You won't believe it. Chief Justice Rush said there's got to be an investigation. So you guys ready for this?
Yes, we're ready. We're ready.
Eric Hogan, the Attorney General, was supposed to investigate the attempted murder on my front lawn. You ready for this? By a car. guy drove off the road 110 feet across the road. We know he was involved with human trafficking. He tried to run me down. 5 witnesses were there. My wife and I were building a retirement home. He hired a logging company to come on and tear it down. I was on the campaign swing. 3 Morgan County sheriffs showed up. By the end of the day, everybody admitted standing in front of the squad cars what had happened. Eric Holcomb intervened, said don't arrest anybody. The head sheriff said don't arrest anybody. They deleted the dash cams of the police cars, all 3. They deleted the 911 call that I called in at the time the attempted murder took place, and they refused to take police reports. I hired an attorney. We finally got the state police, because of the letter from Chief Justice Rush, to do an investigation. It took them 1 year and 1 month. Then they falsified the report. They talked to one of the criminals at the crime, and they wouldn't talk to me. They wouldn't talk to the perp. They washed it all away because they were protecting the FBI sex and drug trafficking operation. And why did Mike Pence allow all that? Eric Holcomb allowed to be protected because they were laundering the seats at Purdue Vet School, which is the biggest scandal in all America today. When you look at my information, you can say, there's no way. You think I'm lying. You won't believe the evidence we've uncovered of the dead children, the poison foods. You see what Bobby Kennedy did today and yesterday with Dr. Oz on the Hill? They're 50% right. God bless him. John Kennedy, the funniest senator in all America, went on the floor of the Senate and said 1% of our food's inspected. Our research from the American Veterinary Medical Association shows 1% of our food's inspected because we're 55,000 veterinarians deficient. There are no veterinarians on any farms, any ranches. 300 million head of cattle, chicken, hogs, all go to slaughter with no veterinary care ever. Tucker Carlson reported last year 58 million chickens euthanized. It is unbelievable. John Boyd, in charge of the Farmers Association, you know, John, 1 billion pounds of beef less today than a year ago. Why? There's no veterinarians. The animals are too sick to even send to slaughter. I've uncovered it all. Pence came after me because he's selling the seeds at Purdue. Here's the stat for you. We're 600 veterinarians short in Indiana, right? And I'll go on your podcast 24/7 anytime. We're 600 veterinarians short. We only graduate 86 doctors a year. Why? Mike Pence and I and John Barrasso, we got in a fight. I said, you got to graduate more students. That's as much as they can do. That was 2009. So we only graduated 86. However, 43 are out-of-state students. So we're only graduating 43. My wife is a doctor and a surgeon. She got cancer. She missed 3 years of work. So we started doing our work because we couldn't find replacements for the doctors that were getting pregnant and leaving. 80% of all veterinary classes are females, right? We found out there's 23 states that have no veterinary colleges whatsoever. So Purdue is selling half of our seats. We are now 600 veterinarians short in Indiana. 600. We can't staff our hospital. My wife saved Angela Ganote's dog. Angela Ganote asked for all the information. She was on Facebook crying, my dog is dying. My wife, one of my campaign guys, said, will your wife call Angela? Angela called me. I gave the phone to my wife. My wife spent a couple hours with her, stabilized her pet via telemedicine till the following morning. Angela, my wife called her the next morning, and we've got all the text approved. She can't deny it. I just talked to Channel 59 reporters when I signed up yesterday for the Congress, and they said, oh, and I showed them Angela's dog, and I'll show her to you. Angela goes, where are all the vets? And she goes, my wife said, Dr. Piper, my husband's been to 59 3 times. Your station. I told you about the corruption at Purdue. Mike Pence, Eric Holcomb was selling the seats. She goes, have your husband get in touch with me. I got in touch with Angela. I gave her everything. She refuses phone calls. She refuses emails. She won't talk to me. Cover up, protect Mike Pence at all costs. Pence is in bed with the FBI, human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, selling the seats at Purdue, laundering money for I-69. I've got all the details. I'm going to give it to you tonight.
Good deal.
It's unbelievable what we've covered. Again, I've been doing this since 2009. People say, where did you get all this? I've been to 15 states. I've been in 62 congressmen and senators' office. All refused to allow me to testify. Matt Gaetz gave me the most time of all, and then, of course, he pulled.
Have you gone to the current administration?
Who, Trump? I've called the White House several times. They will not call me back. We're going to get through because this is Bobby Kennedy's right, and I applaud him for everything. But you can't have a healthy food supply if your cows and chickens and hogs have no veterinary care from the moment they're born to the moment they go to slaughter. So there's a lot of other stories, ancillary things I will share with you. You guys have a card?
We do. Yes, looking forward to seeing you on our podcast.
Oh, you bet.
I thought that was very interesting simply because, did you hear the name that kept popping up? the one person that kept saying, we're going to push it aside and we'll take care of it. We're looking into it or whatever. And then nothing happened since 2009. Pence. Okay. So, they're going to start doing his whole thing to share everything he's collected over him and his wife since 2009 about all those different subjects that you saw that he talked about. I know it was Fast and Furious, but the other interviews, because that's what he's there for, that's what he was doing, is he's going to give each section for the things that he's been able to dig up separate. You know, the whole thing about with Mike Pence and the child trafficking, sex trafficking, that different stuff, and him working with the FBI to cover up a bunch of stuff. All that stuff is all going to be separate in different interviews. So that's what I'm saying. I just put that in the chat. So get that, bookmark it, put it somewhere or whatever, and watch it, and then start paying attention to when the next interviews and the evidence that's going to start coming out. Because he has been trying. He says he's been to 15 states trying to get, senators, congressmen, stuff to listen to what he's got to say, but nobody seems to be interested in it. So I'm telling you, a lot of stuff is coming out, and they've got proof of it. And there's 5 or 6 different groups of people that are into the journalism, behind the scenes stuff, coming out with all kinds of stuff. So his name, I'm trying to remember what his name is. Hold on. I can't remember his name. It just says, get a glimpse of the upcoming interview. It's on his name tag, but I can't zoom in on it on here. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. The thing is, it's on his name tag, but this is from Indiana. He's from Indiana, him and his wife, and he's a veterinary. He used to be a veterinary doctor, and he opened a practice with like 20 different clinics. And that's how it all started, because they were trying to get other vets to come and take over some of their businesses, because his wife had gotten ill and they couldn't do the work that they needed to do. But then that's when they started finding out there was all these gaps, that there's no vets, that it's really hard to become vets, and that there's no schools in lots of the states have no veterinary clinics. So that's how it all started. And each time he got involved in different things with it, he noticed that somebody tried to kill him because he was bringing out too much stuff, and he's got evidence about that, all kinds of stuff. So it just was like, I don't know what you'd call it. Is it like dogpiling on each other or something? More and more stuff came out because of what he was finding. Just like the young guy in Minnesota, him and the older guy fell into it basically, and they started going, "What the blank?" And just started gathering all the evidence. And basically, a lot of these crimes that have been going on with fraud have been going on for many, many years, right? And it's just now coming to head. Like some of this stuff, the Somali fraud with the daycares and the fake drivers, they've been doing that for 20 years. They've been getting away with it more and more and more, and they just bring in more people to help launder the money, and we are paying for it. You and I are paying for the fake daycares, the fake driving things, and they're driving around in Lamborghinis and all these ritzy fancy cars and living high on the hog, because we're paying for everything, every single dime, and they're doing nothing basically. Whatever it is, partying, having a good time, probably other businesses on the side, because they don't have nothing to worry about, because they know they're getting a check every month from us, the taxpayer. So I put that in the chat. So just click on that and you can go and find out a little bit more, because on his website, his page, there's more information on there. All I wanted to do was share the one video just to give you the information so you guys can go look it up, because that's the whole thing, is us digging, finding stuff, and trying to share it with others, because that's how information gets out. And just like what they've been doing since 2009, him and his wife, just trying to get the stuff out and share it with people. So that's basically what I wanted to start doing the show for, is to just show all the stuff that's out there that's going on, and let people know about it, because a lot of people are busy. They have jobs. Some people have 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they don't have time to go through the internet and find all this stuff. So if I'm in a space or on a certain platform and other people are sharing it with me, then I just put it all in my shit show chat, and we all just go through it and read it and stuff like that. And some of us pick certain things that we want to look into, and others look into something else. But that's how you share information, and that's how more people find out about it, is because we're willing to dig around and find out what we can. But this next thing is another thing about the sanctuary cities. Okay. I found this. I thought it was interesting because, Trump made a statement the other day about it. But I wanted to play this Tom Homan video first, and then play Trump talking about this type of stuff. So about the sanctuary cities and what he's planning on doing. So here we go.
I'll say it again. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to work very hard for Secretary Noem to keep President Trump's promise and his commitment several weeks ago that sanctuary cities are now our priority. We're going to flood the zone. You don't want to let us into jail to arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. You want to release him into the street, which makes it unsafe for the community, makes it unsafe for the officer, makes it unsafe for the alien. Anything can happen on a street arrest. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do, we'll have more agents in New York City to look for that bad guy. So sanctuary cities get exactly what they don't want: more agents in the community and more agents in the work site. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of the county jail, then we'll arrest him in the community, and we'll arrest him in the jail. And when we arrest him in the community, if he's with others that are in the country illegally, they're coming too. I'll say it again. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. And I'm going to work very hard.
Okay, so basically, he's been trying really hard to get rid of these people. And these cities that are collecting yours and I's tax dollars aren't letting their cops, the ICE agents, even go into the police jails and stuff and get them and collect them. They'd rather let them out on the street than hand them over to ICE, which is, it's nuts. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, can you tell me a reason why that's even a good thing to do? Any of you? Ruben, can you think of a good reason?
Nope.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand where these people are coming up with some of the, to me, it's nuts. It's just ridiculous and sad. But I wanted to share that because I want to share this next thing. Hold on. And it's Trump. So let me open it. I don't know why I can't get these things in order. I mean, I thought there would be like 1, 2, 3, go down the list like that. But it doesn't ever seem to work out that way. So I don't know if this is it or not. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, here it is. Here's the video. I was worried it was the wrong one. Here we go.
Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities. Additionally, starting February 1st,
I think that's great. But everyone hates him because of it. It's sad. He's doing what he said he was going to do out on the campaign trail at all those rallies, and he asked us, what kind of things we wanted, and this is what we voted for. And all he's getting is hate. He can't get Congress to help him do any of it. I mean, it's like we're fighting a brick wall, basically. At every single step along the way, he's getting sued by the states. He's got judges saying you can't do this, you can't do that, and he has to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. That's why everything takes so long. If you want to know why it takes so long, it's because of the lawfare from the left and the rhinos. Not because Trump and his administration's dragging their feet and don't want to do anything. It's because they're trying to do it by following the Constitution, which means our country is of laws, not of men just running around and doing whatever they want. They're following the law to the best of their ability to prosecute and do the things that they need to do. Yet every single step they make, they have a barricade in front of them, and they have to fight or climb over it to be able to do anything else. And I don't understand why so many people have a hard time understanding why it's taken so long. And that's one of the reasons, is because they're fighting Trump every single step. So, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's total stupidity. I mean, I can't think of any good thing to say about it. It's just sad that we are in this position. But here's another thing I thought was pretty interesting. This is a person that was caught red-handed committing election fraud. And they have her on camera, and they're talking to her about it. I think it's very, very interesting. And it says, imagine how many other people are doing this in other countries, or other counties, and in other states. Add fake ballots, fake IDs, rigged software, and voting machines manipulated over the internet, and all the people that work in the actual counting rooms being bought off. Okay, that's a lot of work to have to put all of that together for it to be successful. That's why I was saying not every single county in every single state is filled with fraud. What they did was they selected certain ones that they thought they needed, and that had the right people in it, that were willing to just sell their soul for a few bucks so they can go on that lavish vacation they've always wanted, or buy that diamond ring, or that house they wanted, whatever amount of money they're getting. So just think about it with this kind of shit going on.
Raquel Rodriguez, how are you doing? This is James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. We have you on tape admitting to coercing voters and bribing voters with gifts. This is you on video telling someone who to vote for, which is a violation of federal law and state law.
Now, on here, you chose a Republican, not a Democrat, right? Can I do that? You can vote for whoever you want, but our conversation that we had, you said you were voting for a hater because you were going straight Democrat. So that way you were voting for the straight down. Is that what you want to do, correct? And she's like, well, yeah, you know what, you're right.
You're right. She changed, she was voting for, she's clearly voting for John Cornyn.
Do you think it's okay to change people's votes for them like you did with Ms. Do you think that's acceptable?
I refuse to talk to you right now.
You're on tape doing it. Do you not see that? Look at this.
This is what they asked me to say, so no.
Okay, but you actually did that.
I'm done. I'm leaving.
Well, we're going to leave with you if you're going to leave, because you bragged.
I don't want to talk.
You bragged that you and your partner go into polling booths with voters and sign an affidavit that you can enforce. Do you think that's legal?
That's a lie. You're lying.
I want the biggest candidate. Everybody's mad.
Which one's that?
Mom. I got the millionaire. A millionaire that's like, go do whatever you need to do. Here's all my credit cards. I don't take advantage of him. I tell everybody, I don't work for that.
So there you go. You got James O'Keefe still out there, even though he lost his company that somebody else was able to fraud him out of, or however that worked, or whatever, took it from him because they didn't like certain things that he was looking into. That's why if you're going to have a business, run it yourself. Don't get a board of people to run your business for you. It's not worth it. They'll just take it from you if they get to where, oh, well, he's too powerful and we're going to take it from you. So I'm glad that he's still trying to dive in, but it's nice that we're starting to see actual proof and the faces of people who did it and what they did and how they went about getting it. Because if you had 100 women like this person that you just saw going in all these different places to these elderly people and getting them to vote whichever direction they swayed them to, which is wrong because you're not supposed to do that either. If you take them to vote, you take them up there, you hand them a pencil, and you let them get their ballot and stuff, go over there and vote, and then you say, go over there and stick it in the box. That's what you're supposed to do. And you're not supposed to do that. Now, if they ask questions about, am I voting yes for this or no, then you find someone to answer the question for them so that they feel like they did their job. But they're not supposed to push them in one direction or another. That is totally wrong. Just like if I had a shirt that said Ford on it or whatever, and there was an election and someone named Ford was running, I wouldn't be allowed to wear that in the polling station because you're not supposed to wear hats that say somebody's name. Now you can wear American flag or I love America, something like that. You're allowed to wear that, but you're not supposed to wear any propaganda which pushes a person's name out there in the polling station. So, there's just a lot of rules that you're supposed to follow. And when you're working for the state or the federal government to do that, to help register voters and things like that, you're not supposed to push them in one way or the other. So that's why I think all of them should have to wear body cameras. I think I already said that to you before, Ruben, about making all the poll workers and stuff wear body cameras and have cameras over the tables and all that. Why not? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with having cameras where people can get online and see how their state, which county you're in or whatever, and see what's going on in the station? You should have the right to do that. I'd rather see that few amount of dollars go to that than have an electronic voting machine. You know what I mean? So I think that would help a lot with people feeling a little more like their vote mattered because they could see what's going on in there when you're not there anymore. So you're crazy. But this is that was just part of one of the things that I thought was important that we shared. But here's another thing I thought was interesting. I think it's this one. Oh, click on it. Okay, here's the other thing that Trump did. It says President Trump just dropped the great healthcare plan to end Obamacare's failures and stop funneling billions to big insurance. Money goes directly to the people. You get the cash to buy your own coverage. Big insurers lose, Americans win. It ends kickbacks to brokers, slashing costs, locks in massive RX drug discounts, forces transparency. It says published claims versus profit breakdowns. Hospitals and insurers on Medicare and Medicaid must post all prices prominently so that you can see the difference. And it says the big insurance companies lose and the people win. Government pays you directly. Pass it on. But here you go. I'm going to play this for you because I think this is great. This is what a lot of people.
To announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things. They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it. And for the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down. And under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed by 300, 400, and even 500% starting this month at the TrumpRx.gov. So instead of Americans paying the highest drug prices in the world, which we have for decades, we will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. So any other nation that's paying the lowest cost, that's what we're going to pay. And the American people will get the savings. So I have to reiterate, the lowest price in the world is what you're going to pay. Before, you were paying the highest price in the world by far, and the politicians did nothing about it. So I'm asking Congress to complete the work that we've started. Next, my plan would reduce your insurance premiums by stopping government payoffs to big insurance companies and sending that money directly to the people. Obamacare was designed to make insurance companies rich. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act, with billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies that helped their stock prices skyrocket over 1,700%, as you paid more money for health care every single year, more and more. The premiums went higher and higher. I want to end this flagrant scam and put extra money straight into the healthcare savings account in your name, and you go out and buy your own healthcare, and you'll make a great deal. You get better healthcare for less money. That way you can choose the care that is right for your family. To further reduce insurance premiums, my plan ends the giant kickbacks to insurance brokers and corporate middlemen that only drive up the costs, and that's what they're intended to do, drive up the cost. But we're driving down the cost. And it fully funds a long neglected part of the law known as the Cost Sharing Reduction Program. This measure alone should cut premiums on the most popular Obamacare plans. It's hard to believe there are any, because it's a hated program. It's unaffordable, but it's going to cut them by an average of 10 to 15%. Next, the Great Healthcare Plan. That's the name. It's called the Great Healthcare because it's great healthcare at a lower price. Mandates unprecedented accountability and transparency from insurance companies and all healthcare providers, so that special interests can no longer profiteer at your expense. As the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That is why my plan orders all insurance companies to publish rate and coverage comparisons in very plain English. It requires insurers to publish detailed information about how much of your money they're going to be paying out in claims versus how much they're taking in profits. In other words, you will be able to watch the scam. It forces them to release detailed data on how many claims are being denied and whether those denials are eventually overturned on appeal. And most importantly, it will require any hospital or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post all prices at their place of business so that you are never surprised and you can easily shop for a better deal or better care. And you're going to end up doing both. You're going to get a better deal and better care. We will have maximum price transparency and costs will come down incredibly. I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law without delay. Have to do it right now so that we can get immediate relief to the American people, the people I love. Thank you very much.
I think that's awesome. And I really like this. I think this is really, really good. I remember, God, it was years ago. One of my friends' son had taken a whole bunch of Tylenol. I mean, because they didn't feel good or whatever, and he took like a handful of them thinking that would help. Well, he ended up having like an overdose from it. So she took him to the hospital. Now, she didn't know it was that he had taken that until after when he started feeling better, and she was able to talk to him about what he had taken. She didn't know if it was NyQuil or what, because he was like, a teenager. And she said that, and then that he was fine. He ended up being okay, and he learned his lesson. He realized how stupid that was. But the thing is, afterward, when she got the bill, it was like 3 weeks later, she couldn't believe how expensive it was. So she went back. I told her to go back to the hospital and get an itemized printout of the bill of what they were charging for. And when she got it, she was shocked. They were charging her $800 on her bill for Tylenol. he was in there for a Tylenol overdose. So they didn't give him any Tylenol. So she was able to have that taken off. And that's part of the problem today. Since we do so much now online, we don't know what's in the bill because we're not getting a printed copy anymore. That's another thing that I suggest that you do. Ask for a paper copy, an itemized paper copy for all your bills, you know, for whatever it is that you have. Why not get it itemized so you know every single tax they're charging, have it all broke down, and at least you know what you're spending your money on, and keep it in your file cabinet for a couple years, and then take it out and burn it or shred it. Do whatever you want with it. Make paper mache out of it. But the thing is, I always ask for a receipt, even if I don't want it. You know why? Because if they're using your number and you're swiping their card and you get a receipt, you have evidence of what you spent at their store, right? You're taking it with you and putting it in your bag. If you don't ask for a receipt, guess what? They can add $20 to it and put it in their pocket. You know, that's why always get a receipt. Always ask for an itemized bill, because of the two things that I've found that other people have said has kept them from being ripped off. So that's two things that you can do. But I think this is wonderful. My parents were in the military and they had TRICARE for life. Okay. So, and as far as I could tell, they had the best medical I could have ever seen. But as traveling around, I've used different insurance at different states. But I think it was in Arizona where I had the best insurance, where I could get all my prescriptions for $5. I paid a monthly fee to the company, and no matter what I was prescribed, it only cost me $5. That was my portion of the insurance. But what was great was when I moved to another state, 2 states away, I still kept that insurance. And I had a lot of people saying, well, we can't do that because it's over state lines. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So then I started realizing that they didn't want you to save money in that state like they were saving in the other one. So the whole thing about Trump being able to give you your money and letting you pick and choose who you want to spend it on, to me, is just like picking a doctor. If you have a doctor that talks to you, looks you in the eye, and has a good bedside manner, and you feel confident with that doctor, and you feel comfortable with them, and you feel like they have your best interests, why shouldn't you be able to keep seeing that doctor? If it's your money and you want to spend it on someone you like just because they're not in your whatever plan, that's wrong. I don't think they should be able to force you to go to a doctor that you don't like or that you don't trust. So all this thing I think is going to really help people. The problem is getting help for the older people that have been, you know, on whatever it is, that hopefully younger people in your family will help the older people understand this is the way it's going to be done now. It'll be here for you to be able to read. I'll be able to explain it to you, or what the different prices are. I mean, I just had a procedure done, and what's sad is I hardly ever get sick. The only thing that's usually wrong with me is getting my allergy shots and stuff. And, you know, I'm going to take eye drops for the itching, carry EpiPen around with me, stuff like that. But the thing is that I should be able to, you know, go to my allergy doctor and ask questions and be able to see what doctor I feel is best fits what I need. And when my insurance company says, well, you can't go to that doctor or have that procedure done until you pay your $1,600 copay, right? Or something like that. And by the end of the year, when I finally almost might have my copay paid off, then I can opt to have some procedure done because they'll pay for it. But the bad thing for me is usually I never pay it. So I'm out all the money because you have to pay the copay and they'll pay like 70% or something like that, depending on your insurance, right? But being able to go to different people because you have the money now and be able to opt where you want to spend your money, I think it's in the best interest of the patients now, especially now that I'm seeing more and more of those clinics, the 24-hour clinic here or there, whatever. If you need stitches in your finger, it's not going to cost you $1,000, $1,400 or whatever to go to the hospital. You can go to the clinic and get stitches, things like that. I think this is awesome. And Obamacare, the few people that I knew of, they weren't even allowed to use it. They were penalized and had to pay a fine every month because they didn't have insurance, because when they went anywhere, because of their age or their gender or whatever, they were told that they had to have this plan or that one. They weren't allowed on this one anymore. Stuff like that, because they made too much money or they were too healthy or whatever dumb reasons they had. So they just went without it. And I think that's terrible. And this way, I think it'd be easier because people can opt to get dental or eye care or things like that. Other things that are out there that big places like Walmart now. Walmart has eye centers in them now. So if you can go and get a pair of glasses at some of those places that will have your glasses made in an hour and save thousands of dollars, why wouldn't you want to do that? And you should be able to do that. It's your money and it's your care. You should be able to pick and choose who you want to see and not be forced to go see someone because they're the only 3 people in your little group that your insurance company says you have to use. So I'm loving it. I think this is going to be great. What do you think, Ruben? Are you still there?
I'm here. I don't know. I couldn't get unmuted. No, it's fantastic if it all works out. Because I got screwed over by Obamacare myself.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then plus you've had lots of issues where you've had to go back and forth, and you've chosen to do a lot of it for yourself simply because you didn't like what they were trying to make you do or trying to force you to do something you didn't feel like was what was best for you. And I'm glad that hopefully they won't be able to do that again, do that anymore.
I hope so. Hope not.
Well, we'll see. But that I thought that was really good, and I'm thankful because I hadn't seen that on the news. I've been listening to the news in the background, but I haven't heard him say anything about, I hardly hear him say anything about Trump speaking, you know what I mean? So I felt pretty good when I had that come across my timeline. I was like, what's this? And I started watching. I was like, hey, this is some good stuff. I'm glad I was watching or happened to, see it when it came across my timeline. But there's let's see, here's another one. I think this is it. Yeah. Oh, this stuff is just getting really scary. Okay. Here is another thing that came across that I thought was important. It has to do with the Somalians. It says in 2015, a group of 200 Somalians were fired because they kept leaving the production line. Okay. They're in a USDA regulating factory. This was against the USDA's regulation of needing continuous production in order to not have contamination, okay, to set in. Like it could be a chicken plant or some other food processing thing with pork or beef or whatever, some type of meat or whatever. It says, but this group of Somalians decided to sue for discrimination, and that this company ended up settling with a lawsuit of $1.5 million in payouts to the 138 people. The Council on American Islamic Relations helped them file this lawsuit, which to me sounds completely insane because they were trying to have 11 people leave the production line all at once. Okay. Instead of one person going to go to the bathroom or going to smoke or whatever their reasons were, they wanted all of them to be able to leave at once simply because that's what they felt they needed or whatever. So I thought that was ridiculous. But they did do that for Tyson. I know for Tyson for sure has added a special thing in there where they were doing where they go through a stunner Okay, the chickens are hung up by their feet and they're hanging, and their head, they go around and their head goes into a little thing where the top of their head gets wet, and then it goes through a stunner. It's the thing that shocks them. And when it shocks them, that's when they're able to slit their throat. So it's to try to keep them from suffering. So, because they have to bleed out. If they don't bleed out properly, then they have all this bruising and like clotting and stuff inside the chicken. So that's why it's important that the knives are sharp and, you know, all the different stuff. Well, now they had to add a little thing to make it the Muslims not mad because of the way that they had to have a person there to do supposedly some ritual or something to make it suitable for them to eat it. So now I've never, ever heard ever in my lifetime of any company that processes any kind of food where a Christian or a Catholic or somebody is standing there blessing the food as it goes by in the processing plant. Have you guys ever heard of that? Or have you ever heard of that, Ruben?
Oh yeah, they do the halal or kosher is the same way.
Oh, they do the same thing there for the Jewish people?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know anything about it, but I was really shocked when I saw that they were doing that in a chicken plant for the Muslims. And I was like, it's interesting. They don't want you to eat pork, but they have to make sure that the chicken is blessed or whatever. So I think that's really funny. But I guess it's okay if the company wants to do that. But I want to do this whole thing and play this video for us now that you guys saw this. But this people paid all this money so that these people could leave the line whenever they wanted, even though it risked contaminating all the food.
Yeah, we are now in Fort Morgan, Colorado at the Cargill Meat Factory, where 20 to 30% of their workforce is Somalian. They actually have prayer rooms inside since 2009. And in 2015, a group of 200 Somalians were fired because they kept leaving the production line. This was against USDA's regulation of needing a continuous production in order to not have contamination within the meat. But this group of Somalians decided to sue for discrimination, and this company ended up settling the lawsuit with $1.5 million in payouts to 138 people. The Council on American Islamic Relations helped them file this lawsuit, which to me sounds completely insane because they were trying to have 11 people leave the production line all at once. And it just makes me think, how come we cannot say it is a part of our religion to just have nap time or whatever we would like? Fort Morgan is the town in Colorado with the highest amount of Somalians living in it. So guys, Fort Morgan is a really small town with only 11,600 people, and 22% of the population here is foreign born, about 14% of them maybe being undocumented or illegal. Most of them are actually Hispanic, around 40%, maybe even 50%. Here in Fort Morgan, the Somali population is 1 to 2% of the population, so around 240 people. I just came into a place called Mendino grocery store. I saw a sign over there that said that there's a halal market in here, and so I came into this hallway, and there's a grocery store right here, but they look closed. They do accept EBT. And there's a few other stores that I would have never expected to be in.
So that is the town that paid out over $1 million for those employees because they were they didn't feel they were being treated properly because of their religion. But I don't know of any business that would let me leave whenever I wanted because I wanted to go pray or whatever, because I'm a Christian. You know, I'd get a tiny little short pee break, or I'd be able to have my 30-minute lunch break, or be able to just take off every hour for 15 minutes so I'd go smoke. You know, I don't know. It's funny how they coddle to one or two groups of people, and that's it. And everybody else, they just say big fuck you. They don't give a shit. It just doesn't. It's so unfair. I don't understand it. But I just wanted to share it, and I did put it in the chat So anybody that's interested in looking this up and finding out more about it. But see, this has been going on for a while. This didn't just happen during the Biden administration or whatever. This has been happening since like 2009. So I don't know. I'm just shocked how much more and how much more and how much more stuff keeps coming out. And I'm like, what the, when, how did all this happen? And nobody talked about it. See, like I hear tons and tons of people bitching and moaning that that Pam Bondi hasn't arrested everybody from the Epstein stuff, and she hasn't arrested Comey, she hasn't arrested Clapper, and all these people. And I go, they did arrest Comey. Look what happened, because our Congress hasn't put all the judges that Trump has a list of all these judges he wants to put in place so that they can prosecute people, but he wants judges that he thinks are fair because he thinks that these liberal judges are biased. We have a liberal Supreme Court justice that can't even tell you what a woman is. But, we're supposed to just not worry about it and say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. The Congress doesn't have to do their job and help Trump put his people in. I don't know. It's bullshit. It's been over a year and he still hasn't filled it in. And as soon as Comey does get indicted, what happened? They threw it out. A liberal judge threw it out. So that's what's going to happen when you bring Clinton in and you bring in any of these other people. The case is just going to get thrown out and nothing is going to happen because we have a lame ass Congress that can't get off their ass and do the few things that Trump has asked them to do. I have no idea. We have too many rhinos in there. We can't get anything done. It's been over a year, you guys. Earn your freaking paycheck by doing what we asked you to do when we put Trump in office, because we went and we voted. It just makes me sick to my stomach. I just want to see some shit done. But here is something I wanted to share. Okay, this is from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement website. Okay, and this is on their thing that it's ice.gov, basically. Peaceful protests do not result in destruction of federal vehicles and theft of federal property. So here you go. You can look at this. I mean, look, it's showing pictures of all these. Look what they're doing. And they cover up their faces, but they say they demand ICE not be able to cover their faces. And you and I are going to probably end up having to bail out the whole country of Minnesota. It might as well be called a country, because they've got, I don't see that many Americans there. I mean, look at this shit. And we're going to end up paying for it. They have time to spend all day long trashing and rioting, looting, putting graffiti on stuff, throwing, all kinds of shit, rocks, firecrackers, whatever else they have at ICE agents, and standing in front of their vehicles and doing all this stuff, all while ICE is trying to arrest people that are on a list because they were either arrested for something or they found out when they came over the border, and they've been able to track them down. And these people don't want to send these people back. They just want to keep paying for them. Apparently, they don't work. So they're getting free handouts. So they don't want their free handouts to go away. I mean, I don't understand. If they're American citizens, what are they afraid of? Why do they think that they're going to lose their free handouts? They'll have more money in the pot when we don't have to hand money out to these people. None of this makes any sense to me. It's just ridiculous. And it's sad that our ice.gov has to post this kind of crap on their website to show what's happening in that one little city. That's just one city in a whole state filled with these people doing this kind of shit, wasting our money, and endangering the lives of our ICE officers that are just trying to do their job, which is deport illegal people that are here illegally. And a lot of them are breaking the law and stealing, doing all kinds of things that they shouldn't even be here. So I don't know. It's just pathetic, I think. But here's the other one. This is something to do with the Epstein stuff that I found. So I thought I'd bring this up. Okay, this is Glenn Prager, Senior Department of Justice Epstein investigator. With 20 years at the DOJ as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving the Department of Justice components, including the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Prisons, U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney's offices, confirms they killed the Epstein list to protect Bill and her husband, Hillary Clinton, the Clintons. So I want you to listen to this I will share this in the chat, but I want you to listen to this video. It's pretty interesting. Here we go.
Protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people. Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax of the case, like a hoax or something. I mean, come on, it's not a hoax. He's been on the plane, many times. Mm-hmm. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids. I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. While the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025, a senior Justice Department investigator who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for alleged rapes on the Lolita Express, and that President Trump was not present for the rapes that Glenn Prager investigated, but that he is protecting a lot of other people that were.
How about this whole Epstein thing that's like going on?
So I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims, and my picture was 20 to 30 victims, in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we would go ready to go to trial, and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off, and they were just like these little kids. They pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families, so you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000, nothing in that guy's world.
Prager there describes how the victims that he interviewed were paid off by Epstein right before going to trial. Prager has worked as an investigator inside the Department of Justice for over 20 years.
According to Prager's LinkedIn About page, it says that during the tenure at DOJ, Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components, including the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Prisons, U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney's offices. This seems to corroborate what Prager told us.
He was tasked with interviewing Epstein's rape victims and investigating flight logs. On his backpack in the airport, we spotted an embroidered FBI patch, which caught the attention of our citizen journalist.
I'll tell you this, because no, it's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA.
He wasn't a CIA.
Although many have suspected it to be the case, this is the first time a Department of Justice official has confirmed that Epstein worked for the CIA and is a foreign asset.
So DOJ was settling the case, and they were just letting him, do house arrest and they minimized his arrest. Part of that is because all the victims kept on flipping and they didn't have anyone to go to trial with. The more importantly part is they didn't want to go after him. He's an asset for the United States and Israel for the CIA. I just know that's what he was, and that's why he was protected so long for this. And people turned a blind eye about all this garbage that he was doing in the United States. He had a lot of secrets. More about Israeli stuff than anything else. He was doing stuff for Israel and the United States. He was, he's working for both.
Glenn Prager, the Department of Justice investigator on the Epstein case, then talks about whether President Trump was involved. Many are trying to tie Trump to Epstein, but what Glenn Prager says is that Trump wasn't present during the inappropriate sexual behavior that he was investigating. But Prager does say that Bill Clinton was, backed up by his experience interviewing the victims and reviewing the Epstein Lolita Express itineraries. Quote, they killed the Epstein list to protect the Clintons.
They claim that that Trump's involved in the rapes and all that stuff, and he wasn't. I mean, I've seen the agendas, I've seen the itineraries, and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. I remember that it was being killed because I know Clintons were on there, and
the Clintons were on there.
100%. And while the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred. And that's what I'm saying. Trump, although as many flights as there were and all that kind of stuff, and on the island and all that stuff, he was never there during a single alleged rape. But Clinton for sure, and that's where the big cover-up was.
The Department of Justice investigator inside the Trump Justice Department says that while Trump may not have been present during the crimes that Prager investigated, it is clear that Trump is, quote, protecting a lot of people.
I don't know what's new that I have never seen that he's so hesitant to now show what's going on, and releasing all those files. I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people.
The citizen journalist boarded American Airlines Flight 1634 and landed in D.C. Monday at 8 o'clock at night and proceeded to go to dinner with this man, this DOJ investigator, at a restaurant called Blue Duck Tavern. Glenn Prager dislikes the fact Trump said the Epstein scandal is a hoax, but he also says, according to the evidence from his investigation, that Trump is not covering up for himself.
Trump's now saying it's a hoax, the case is like a hoax or something. I mean, come on, it's not a hoax. He says a lot of stupid stuff. He's been on the plane, many times. Mm-hmm. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids. People want to tie it to him and say he's covering up for himself, but he's not.
Now, this is a very good thing for President Trump and seemingly exonerates him from many people who claim that he was doing something inappropriate himself. This dinner went on for an hour and 45 minutes as this Department of Justice investigator revealed things to a stranger that the leadership of the FBI and the Department of Justice has not. Prager revealed more information about Trump's hesitation to be fully transparent with the Epstein case, gave us some details about internal gripes against FBI Director Kash Patel from within the FBI, and he detailed a developing feud between Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi. If you'd like to see more of that conversation in the restaurant, you may subscribe to OMG and find it on our website.
Who was like the one name where you're like, oh my God?
Here he is. Hey there, is this Glenn?
Yes.
You work for the Department of Justice, correct?
No.
You don't work for the Department of Justice. You had a patch on your backpack that said FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, in the airport.
Yeah.
And you talked about how you interviewed the Epstein people, all the Epstein victims. Do you recall that conversation?
I didn't. No. No. How can I help you?
I wanted to confirm that you, in fact, did work for the department. Hang on with the phone. Let's try calling him again. Glenn?
I'm not talking to you.
Well,
I don't know who you are. I'm not talking to you.
You already did speak to my friend.
Hey, now stop talking. I don't know who you are.
I'm a journalist. I need your help, sir.
I'm not talking to you or any journalist about anything.
Did you interview the Epstein victims?
I can't talk to you.
Well, the thing is, one of the reasons why I wanted to share this is that I think it was a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago, I did a show on After Hours, and it was 2 different interviews with 2 of the Epstein victims. And they both said that they settled in court for like quite a bit of money, $126 million, something like that, against the Epstein estate which I think his brother paid the money or whatever. And a lot of the girls took the money, and that means they can't, as far as I know, legally, they can't, do anything else in court when it comes to prosecuting any of these people. I mean, I don't know about the actual people that raped the girls and stuff like that, but the only way to get that information is to get the judge to unseal the documents from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. Because if there was enough evidence there to put her into prison for trafficking, then they would have to have victims and the people that they were trafficked to be able to prove that she trafficked them, right? So the thing is, they could do that. They could do something like that. But I do know that two of the big victims, talked about a whole bunch of different things, and it was on one of my after-hour shows, and I played a lot of that information from that. And one of them is no longer alive. She supposedly committed suicide, one of the more verbal victims, and she was moved to Australia with her husband and her 2 children. So if you just want to dig in and look at stuff like that, you could find out a bunch of information. But the fact that they took a settlement hurts their case. And I hate to say that, but it really does. When you take money, and you say you take the money and you'll shut up or whatever, usually that means that you can't really do much more. But that, as far as I could tell from what the information that I had, it was from the Epstein estate. So if they wanted to prosecute people that actually would use the women or the young girls at the island or on the plane, or even at the ranch, because they talked about the being taken to the ranch in New Mexico too. Nobody talks about that. And so there's just a lot of places that they were used. And you got to remember, he had a huge fancy place in New York City too. So girls were taken to all those places. So there is ways to do something and get more information if you can get one of the victims to give you the information, or you can unseal the documents from the Ghislaine Maxwell case, and you'll have a shit ton of evidence, because if it could put her in prison, then they've got to have a lot of evidence in that, in those court filings. So that's what I would recommend that someone to do if they want to get more information about that and really give a shit about prosecuting people. That's who I'd go after. I'd go after that judge and get him to unseal. So that's what I would recommend. But here is something else that I found I thought was interesting. Remember what happened, what was it, 2 weeks ago when we went in and got Maduro, right? And they went in 35 minutes. They were able to go in and take them out. And I showed a video that showed step by step basically what they said they did. But I had someone today in a space talking about that they think that they used special weapons against the Cuban soldiers that were there, that basically tore them up from the inside out, and that some of them exploded and all this different stuff. And I don't know where he got his information or whatever, but he said they used sound weapons on them. But I found this and I thought it was very interesting, and I'm going to share it with everyone. There's a video on here, right here, about a special weapon, supposedly, that they could use, that it's in the testing phase still, but that they could use in these things that's going on in Minnesota, because supposedly this is not harmful. It won't, destroy you or scramble your brains or blow your eardrums out or whatever. So this was on Fox 47 News, and I will share it in the chat, the links. You can go look it up yourself, but it is very interesting. So listen to this.
You can't see it, hear it, or smell it, but it makes unruly mobs do this. the Defense Department's active denial system, a non-lethal weapon that can be used to control crowds, secure perimeters, and keep pirates at bay. It could be a game changer.
This is one of the things that we can shoot first and ask questions later. Normally, you can't do that.
The military says the active denial system is not radioactive, it's not a microwave, and it's not a laser beam. It's instead a man-sized beam of millimeter waves that can be fired from up to 1,000 meters away that are designed to get the subject, whoever's standing on this X, really, really hot so that they move. And it's about 50 degrees out here right now, but I just felt like it was about 1,000. And I've never been inside a tub that somebody dropped a hairdryer in, but I would imagine that that's what it feels like. After about 1.5 seconds, 1/64th of an inch of my skin was 130 degrees. But as soon as I stepped away, it was over. And the DoD says there aren't any lingering effects.
There's no cancer risk. There's no risk to a fetus or reproductive capability. It's just heat.
But the DoD admits this system does have a drawback.
We are propagating through the air. We are, therefore, relatively line of sight. And so we need to be line of sight with targets.
A prototype costs $10 million, and there are no plans to deploy one anytime soon.
You've heard of the active denial system in the military. It's this dish that sends out a beam of frequency towards people that are looking to do harm. It'll make you stop in your tracks. It'll make you feel like you got to vomit. It'll make you feel like you're on fire. It can even put voices in your head. It's called the active denial system in the military. And the Admiral Tabbas, those has this group of people coming at him because they don't know who he is when he lands his ship. He says, I raised my staff and sent out a ray of vibration which stopped them still in their tracks. Sounds like the active denial system to me. Same technology, just a different year. What we're doing now, we're just simply rediscovering everything that already existed.
So I thought that was interesting because I don't understand if they have this already. And that was Peter Ducey, Steve Ducey's son, doing that whole interview there and letting them do it on him, apparently. Why aren't they using this in Wisconsin? That's what I'm saying. There's stuff out there and there's technology to do it. So I don't see why they're not able to do that. Why wouldn't ICE be able to use that to protect themselves? See what I mean? So I don't know. I think it would. I think it might help, especially if it's heat or whatever, like he was saying. Now I've heard him say that they could use water cannons, but can think about that. That's why whoever's paying these people to show up. Okay. They're telling them to bring your kids. Because if you got your kid and you're walking around holding your kid, they're not going to engage with you. They're not going to shoot you with a water cannon. They're not going to do the lasers, or the whatever that thing is that shoots the jolts of electricity at you. There's a lot of things they're not going to do. Right. So the fact that a woman would take her child to something like that is a bad mother. There's no way. A mother is the one that gets in front of their kid to protect them, not to take them and hold them while they're standing in line ready to fight, or I don't know what they're doing. They're idiots. I have no other answer for it. But that's my opinion. They are not smart, and I don't think they should be able to take their children to do something like that. And I would think that they should be arrested for child abuse, risking their child's lives by taking them into an environment that could be hostile, which is proven. Last week, a woman was shot there. So, by her own actions, but that's the kind of people that are hanging out in these places, and you're going to take your little toddler. It's ridiculous. And just like they said that none of the fathers that they saw when he was walking around, this reporter, he didn't see any fathers. He only saw mothers. So either they are moms without dads, just single moms that just have popping out babies to collect money or whatever. I don't know what, but they definitely shouldn't have kids. Their children should be taken from them. If they're taking their child on purpose to stand in a riot area to stop ICE from being able to do their job, knowing that they could get run over by some maniac's vehicle. I mean, who knows what? It's just ridiculous. I mean, I see so much chaos going on, and I don't see it ending. that's what's scary, is that I don't see how they're going to end this now that they're taking their children with them. It's just sickening. But I'm going to share that real quick again. Oh, I did already. Okay, it's in the chat, and I also shared it on my Kick, so that if you wanted to get the information, you can over there, because I'm doing live on Kick instead of X tonight. But Ruben, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think about this DARPA weapon? Do you think this was probably what they might have used
Probably.
Cuba?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, but the people I was talking to this morning, they said that all these people were like in such bad shape and mutilated and stuff that they had to cremate them before they took them back to their families. So I don't know. I don't know what the truth is. That was just what they were saying. And
Yeah, I'm winding down myself, getting tired.
oh, I'm sorry. So you
fine.
you ready to leave?
A little bit, yeah.
Because I got a couple more things on the list here.
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
thought were important.
Let's do that.
But I thought that was interesting because I hadn't heard anything about that before. I never heard about this DARPA thing. And then I had this. Let's see, is it this one? Just give me 1 second. I'm trying to read all these things. Oh, here's something I thought was interesting. This more and more of this kind of stuff is coming out too. It says Barack Hussein Obama delivering billions in cash to the #1 sponsor of terror on the planet, the Islamic Terror Republic of Iran. In other words, while Barack Obama was funding a terrorist regime abroad, here at home, he was orchestrating the overthrow of the United States government. So I thought I'd play this little tiny video because, and you have to read it. So here you go. So what do you think he was paying them for? And the fact that we just abandoned all of those weapons and all of our, stuff when we left, we just, the people, everything, we just up and left all our stuff. Just stupid shit like that. It just doesn't sound like something generals and colonels and stuff like that in the military would just say, oh, it's all right. We'll just pack up and fly out. We can just leave all the stuff there. It doesn't matter if they use it against us in, next summer. It's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's like all of this stuff, they did it on purpose because they knew that these people were going to get this and use it against us, bring it back to our own country on a ship with China or whoever is going to bring them here, and then come here and blow up buildings and cause terrorist attacks in our own country with our own weapons that we just left there in bulk. All of this stuff is just ridiculous. It's just sickening and sad. I just cannot believe this is the country I grew up in with so much shit going down. It's just shocking. And that we just act like it's no big deal. It's just, who cares? I don't know. I thought this was really, really interesting too. Tim Burchett. I think everybody probably knows who that is. And he's talking about how Cuba regime might fall without President Trump firing a single shot because of his geopolitical prowess, which is great because everybody talked about it at the very, very beginning about how smart they thought he was, things like that, because of the book, The Art of the Deal, on how to do certain things. And a lot of those people that said those things, I still hear them saying, they're just not saying it as loud as they were before. It's like they're worn down, or they just don't want to stand out in a crowd anymore because they're getting threats. So, I thought I'd play this video because I still think it's very interesting. So here we go. It's his point of view on what he thinks is going to happen now with Cuba.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett at the airport, going to head to DC. Hey, saw where President Trump was putting pressure on Cuba by shutting down Venezuelan oil. Now what he's done is, it's really a masterful move. He's cutting off oil. You know, China was there. There was no mistaking that timing. They're clearly going to make a move on Taiwan, and they need that oil. Russia needs that oil. And Trump took it over and seized it and I guess embargoed it, I guess is what they say. But something else that he did was he stopped Cuba from getting it. Now, Cuba, of course, 90 miles off the coast of Miami, communist owned run, used to cost Russia $1 million a day to keep them afloat, alive. And now, of course, they're bogged down in Ukraine. But by Trump seizing that oil and stopping the flow to Venezuela for the first time realistically in my life, we have a chance of making a change in Cuba. Castros are murdering thugs, Fidel and his brother now, and whoever else. And it's just got to end at some point. When I was younger, I thought all our blustering talk was, we're gonna end Cuba, in the communist reign there, and it's never happened. But this is a clear and decent shot we have. If anybody can pull it off, it's Trump. He understands. The most powerful thing we have is our military. But the second most is our economic power. And that's what Trump's going to use. And he'll do it without firing a shot. So I support this move. I hope we can end the communist reign on Cuba. Those people have been imprisoned. And, you know, that's why they're always trying to escape, get to Miami. And some of the most loyal, patriotic Americans we have are Cuban Americans because they get it. Anyway, we'll watch what happens this week. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Yeah, now I'm going to share this whole thing with you because this is something that I think you should. I'm going to share this tomorrow too with my sisters because I don't think they have heard this. But I think he's right. I think that everything that Trump has been doing with the tariffs is helping our country. If you look around and you see all the fraud that was from Doge found for Social Security, all the other fraud they found with the NGOs, we're finding all this fraud with the Somalis that's been going on since like 2009. I mean, they're fine, and it's in Ohio, it's in Texas, it's in California, it's all over the place. There's fraud everywhere. Then we have fraud in our cheating of our elections, not just the one that happened when Trump lost and Biden got in. I think they were cheating way back when Hillary tried to win. It's just that they didn't cheat enough. And that's why we didn't get Hillary. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you know, and thank you that we didn't end up with a cackling hyena this last time. Oh, I mean, I'm a woman and I would love one day to say, oh, yeah, look at us. We got a woman president. But I want a president that actually can do the damn job, not just because she's got boobs. Okay, I want someone that can do the job. I don't believe in DEI hires. If you can't do the damn job, you don't deserve to go in there and even be interviewed. That's how I look at it. I mean, believe me, you don't want to hire me to bake. Okay, if I make cookies, I have to get the kind you slice and you put them on a pan and you put them in the oven. You don't want me mixing the dough and whatever else because they're gonna taste like crap. I've tried to learn to bake. I suck. But guess what? I can crochet. I can do other things, but you don't want my cooking. I mean, I can cook a few things. I can make beef jerky and a few things like that, but don't hire me to make a cake or be a baker because I cannot bake worth shit. Now, one of my other sisters, man, she can make candy, caramel. She can make peanut brittle. She can make all kinds of bread. It's shocking how good she can make her stuff taste. But I'm not that person. That is not me. And a person that knows what they're doing and can do the job should get hired for the job, not a person because they look a certain way or because they have a different skin tone or they're a male or a female. That should have nothing to do with whether or not you get a job. Okay, I don't believe in any of that because I want a paramedic that comes to my house that's an actual paramedic that knows how to do the job. Same thing with the firemen. I want a fireman that can carry the hose up the ladder and down the ladder and carry a 300-pound person and put them on a gurney and get them out of the burning building. That's what I want coming to my home if there's a fire. I don't want somebody that weighs 100 pounds that can't do the job. Okay. No one should want that. I don't care. It has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with me not liking lesbians or gays. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with me being a human being and wanting the best for my family. And all of you out there want the same, I'm sure. So why would you want someone to come to your house as a police officer, a fireman, or any other person that isn't qualified? I wouldn't. That's just like that movie, G.I. Jane. I'll bring that up again. G.I. Jane, the movie that I asked Bruce to review with me, I wanted to bring it up during the DEI crap because that movie came out and Demi Moore played the lead character of a woman who was picked to be try to join the Navy SEALs or Navy or Army Rangers or whatever, one of those elite teams. And she was fighting against the people that were trying to put her in there to not lower the standards, to make her do the same thing that everyone else had to do to make it to be in there. And that's why I wanted to play it, because that is how it should be done. Okay. If they have to lower the standards for you to be a chef or a doctor or a nurse or a dentist, how would you like it if you went in to get your teeth done and you had a root canal, you needed a root canal, and you found out right before you were supposed to get the shots or while you're getting the shots that they didn't even pass their tests or anything? They hired them because they needed somebody. They needed a man because all the other ones were women or something. Some other dumb reason they hired them. Are you going to still let them drill into your mouth? I bet you're not. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to say. Trump knows about business. Okay. He's a successful businessman and he's running our country like a business, like you should. He's trying to figure out where the waste is, where all the brakes are to get the brakes fixed to where things run smoothly. To me, all that makes perfect sense. And I'm not even a college graduate. You know, I'm just I took a couple technical classes and things like that, but I'm not a genius. And I never said I was. I'm just an American that loves this country and wants to see us be successful and that have money in the bank that you earned and not all of it go to the government. Things like that. That's all I want. And the fact that we have someone like him in office shows that we still have people that actually care about the job that they're in there for. And to me, when I look at Trump and everything that he's gone through, it's somebody who cares about what the outcome is going to be when he's finished, which means we are better off after he leaves than worse. Like we've had a few presidents and we were way worse off. And it took us many, many, many years of multiple presidencies to recoup from the crap that other person did. But if you do too much crap, you're never going to recover from it. And I do believe that for sure. So that's all I can say. I try to think like a daughter of a man that was in the military because I care about our veterans and I care about voting because our country was founded on people, okay, us, people that were leaving other countries wanting to come somewhere where they could be free from that and be able to have whatever religion they wanted, to be able to own their land, take care of their land, till their land, grow stuff, or go to school, be a doctor, whatever it is they wanted to do. And look how well it's done. It's done really well. We're one of the strongest countries in the world, and we're the youngest, right? So we did something right, and we're still doing something right. And one of the biggest things that I think we've done right is the fact that we have the Second Amendment. We haven't handed over a gun, so we're able to defend ourselves from our government, not from another country coming in and trying to take over. The guns are for us to be able to protect ourselves from the government that's controlling our country. And right now, with some of the shit that I've seen going down, I might need it to protect myself from my own neighbors that are going to try to kill me because they don't agree with the way I see things. So I'm thankful every day that I have the right to bear arms. And I think everybody out here should be thinking about that. Even if you don't own a weapon and you don't want to own a weapon, why would you want to stop your next door neighbor from having one? If they're not a thug that running a drug den or a prostitution ring out of their house, they take care of their yard, they mow, they take care of their property. Why wouldn't you want them to be able to have the right to own a weapon to protect themselves from who knows what that might happen in their home? And I'm not saying that all of them have them to hunt for food, because guess what? I shot a few squirrels. I've shot one deer, in my lifetime. I know how to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot harder to go out and do that type of thing to get my food. But guess what? I will do it if I have to eat. I can do that. I can fish. I can clean fish, do a lot of things. Doesn't mean I want to do it, because it sure is nice to be able to just go out to the grocery store and come back with a clean, completely clean chicken. I can go out to my coop and get eggs, which is great, but not everybody can do that. But that's a skill that I'll have, that I'll be able to use if we ever come down to a bartering system or some other way of having to take care of ourselves, which I hope we don't have to. But the thing is, this is our country, yours and mine. Anyone that was born here or came here and became a naturalized citizen, it's our country. That's our flag that we say a pledge of allegiance to. And you have a right to defend it from foreign and domestic, which means if your neighbor keeps coming and stealing stuff from your shed, you have the right to prosecute that person from stealing stuff that belongs to you. Okay. And you have the same right to do that against your government. And if we don't stand up and fight for ourselves, why would we expect our government to fight for us? I mean, to me, that's common sense. If you're not willing to stand up and fight for what you believe in, why should anybody else do it for you? They're not going to. So we got to start fighting. We got to start taking what's ours and protect it, and have something to leave to our kids and their kids. Isn't that what the American dream is to grow up, be able to be safe in your home from criminals or people coming and stealing everything you have from you, taking from you what you've earned, and then being able to fall in love one day and build your own family, but still visit your parents for, holidays and things like that. And then one day you're sitting on the front porch looking out in your yard, and you see your grandchildren growing up. That's the American dream. At least that's what I thought it was growing up. And I still believe that's what I want. I want to one day be able to see my grandchildren playing out in the yard, and maybe their first kiss with their first girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. To see that happen, to me, that's the American dream. To know that they can do that, and no one's forcing them to have to marry that person or have that job or that job, that they're able to pick and choose what they want to do simply because I made good decisions to have a decent place for them to live as they grew up, and teaching them morals about how to treat other people, things like that. It seems like we're lacking in so many things when it comes to family values, taking care of your family. My great grandmother was a Chickasaw Nation, grew up on a reservation in Oklahoma, and their family, the elders were the ones that took care of the kids and passed on knowledge of traditions, things that happened to them when they were younger, and the parents worked and stuff like that. The same thing like you see today. But if you want to keep tradition in your family, you have to teach it. You, as a mother or a sister or an aunt or whatever, have to teach it to the next generation. That's the only way they're going to learn anything. Instead of relying on the government to print some books, which you don't know what's even in that book. You don't know if it's truthful. You're just relying on them saying it's truthful. Unless you actually read the book and sit down and help your kids with their homework, how are you even knowing what they're teaching your kids? I mean, we're not hands-on anymore. We need to start getting more hands-on and doing our job. And that's taking care of our families, taking care of our communities, and trying to, take care of our states. Because if we take care of our states and we keep our states strong, America's going to be strong. So that's basically, this is what I had picked out to talk about on the show today, because to me, all of these things, even though they're in different states, they have to do with different levels of government corruption in different areas of people pointing their fingers at different places, but it's all happening all at the same time. All of this is going on right now in our country. And what are we going to do about it? That's basically what I want people to think about. Is this mess ever going to end? Are we ever going to try to fix it? Well, guess what? I voted for Trump because I believed he was going to pick people after what happened in his first term, and the fact that I know they cheated to get Biden in. Okay, I really do. I from what I've seen, I can see that we were cheated out of the person we voted for, and forced to endure what we survived. Our country survived through, and a lot of people didn't. I lost a lot of friends. I'm not going to say exactly what happened to all of them, but I blame a lot of the choices that our government made on a lot of these people dying. I really do. And I am not going to die from the same thing they did, because I didn't do it. I didn't go through with it. I said no from day one. So I'm happy that I didn't do it, but I'm sad for the people that felt they had no option. I mean, I lost a lot of work. I had to make lots of changes in my life because of it. But I'd do it again. So, but that's all I really wanted to talk about tonight, was just show these different things. Please pay attention to what's going on in the news. Please pray for Trump, whatever thing that's going to happen with Minnesota, because I have a really bad feeling, because I already know that they have early in the last year, they had articles of impeachment already drawn up, ready to go, because you know what? They tried to impeach him multiple times the last time I was president, but this time we have way more rhinos in there now. So if they do write it up and he does decide to do the Insurrection Act in Minnesota, I think that might be the one thing they're waiting for him to do. They're wanting him. That's why they're not doing anything. They're letting it be utter chaos. It's just nuts. And I think they're doing it on purpose, because they're letting it slide, the people in charge. I mean, and some also, a lot of the rhinos are just, they don't want to do anything about it, because they're waiting for Trump to do something. And when he does, they're all going to want to impeach him. And that's how they get rid of him, because they couldn't, he's still alive, for one. And I hope you're right. I hope you are right. I am so worried that's going to happen. But I'm hoping that Trump has a couple aces up his sleeve and understands that this is what they're probably going to try to do, something like this, because they tried to do it multiple times last time. But we have so many rhinos that hate him. They just can't stand to be in the same room with you. You can just see the look on their face of disgust when they enter a room with them, because they are so corrupt, and everything that Trump is doing is taking their money that they think is theirs. They deserve it, because they look down on you and I, because we're nobody. Look at that. They live in the boonies. They eat squirrel. They're this, that, and the other. They're unfit. They don't even know what's good for themselves. We know better. So they should just work and give us their money and let us take care of them, because we know better what's best for them. I mean, that's how I feel. These people look at Trump, and Trump doesn't look at us that way. I've seen him. I just love the way he treats our veterans. I will never forget it, and I know I've said this multiple times before I end up leaving, is the fact that it was him and his wife were walking along, and there was a whole line of veterans against this wall, and some of the veterans had their wives with them, and Melania was with Trump, and they were going along, and Trump came to this one veteran, and he had two of those claw hands hooked to his arms because he had lost his arms. And I every time I think about it, I almost start crying because it was such an emotional moment for me. Trump stopped and he reached out and he touched the man on the face. That's compassion. That's true compassion. Because what would most everyone else do? They'd go tap him on the shoulder or something, something very impersonal, or even shake his hand that's not even his. Okay. Something like that. But when I saw him do that, I knew that I made the right decision, because I, at the very beginning, was a Ben Carson all the way. Ben Carson. I just love Ben Carson. I still love Ben Carson. Him and his wife are adorable. I just think I wish everyone could be like them. I mean, they are such good people, good Christians. They love people. They're kind, they're generous, and I just love them. I think they're wonderful people. But he wasn't tough. And with all the shit that we've been seeing pouring out, crime after crime after crime after crime, fraud, embezzlement, just terrible shit that's coming out. I just don't think Ben was cut out to do that type of thing. And I'm telling you right now, we were so lucky to end up with Trump, because Trump is badass. I mean, just like I showed you that video earlier of him flipping that guy off, because he's a human, and he's fighting a war from the inside of our country, from the people on the inside of the country. He's doing stuff outside too. I admit that. He's saving us from drug lords and all that kind of stuff. But most of the fighting that he's going through is lawfare, them trying to kill him. I mean, anything they can do to ruin Trump is what they've done. They've done nothing but hate him since he's been president. And even half of America, or not half, 40% of Americans can't stand him. I think he's wonderful. And then when he stopped, and when they were first running and they were going to do that speech, where they went out and they talked and to each other or whatever, debate or whatever you want to call it. I didn't think it was that much of a debate, but basically they went out there and talked to each other about different things. Well, when he went out and Ben Carson was standing there, because Ben Carson didn't hear him call his name, so he was standing there. Every single person just walked right by Ben Carson, nodded or whatever, and walked on by. But when Trump went out and saw Ben Carson standing there, he stopped, because he knew that Ben had missed his call, because he knew that Ben Carson had been called, and waited until they brought him out, and then he went out. To me, that shows character. I'm sorry. Actions speak louder than words. And when you see somebody reach out and touch someone on the face because they're trying to give human contact to another person they know doesn't have any hands, that is just something that's instinct. It's not something that everyone has. It's not something that's taught to every person. But I could feel that from him. And that changed everything about how I looked at him after that. Those two things that he did proved to me that he is what he's saying. So I can't help it. I'm going to root for him. I'm giving him 4 years that he deserves, that he won, just like Obama, just like Biden, or whoever else has been elected. I don't believe Biden was elected. I believe he was inserted. But we've given other people 4 years to do certain things that they said they're going to do. And so far, Trump's the only president in my lifetime that has done trying to do everything he said he was going to do when he had all the rallies. How many other people can you actually say that about? None that I can't say anything about any of them. They haven't done shit. So that's where I'm at. But I want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with me tonight and letting me do my rant. I feel a lot better. This is like my therapy or whatever. And I'm sorry taking it out on you guys, but that's how I feel. But thank you, Ruben, for hanging out with me. I know you didn't feel really good, but I appreciate you. And I hope all of you guys have a wonderful weekend. I don't know whether or not I'm going to play in the game tomorrow, because I don't know if we're having a game, because we normally play a game every Saturday. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, whatever. And then Sunday, I'm going to do a girl and a guy in a movie, and the movie is The Four Musketeers. Last week, we did The Three Musketeers from 1973, and then Sunday, we're going to do The Four Musketeers, which I've never seen. So I'm kind of excited about it. Anyone who would like to watch The Four Musketeers, if you send me a DM on my Instagram or on my Discord or on X, I will invite you if you want to come watch it. We usually start around 12:30 Central Time, and we watch the movie. We talk about it for about 35 minutes or so, and then we do go live and talk about and review the movie. So do you have anything you'd like to bring up, Ruben? About what's going on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say thank you again to everyone, and God bless America. We sure need it. And don't give up. I have a real strong feeling that within a month, we're going to start seeing something big happening. I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling something good is about to happen.
I hope so. Well, I'm out of here myself. Good night, everybody.
Good night. You guys have a wonderful weekend.
Go!